Hey, Ken here at Water's End. Yes, this is Bailey, our little Scotty. We're at my house, and we've got a major garden project going on. Thought I'd show it to you. Right up here, we got this huge west wall. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and it is roasting. I mean, just super hot. So I'm trying to soften this wall up from the sun. And so I can't use evergreens because I want the solar gain in the winter. So what we've done is we've taken aspens. So we're going to plant 4 aspens today. I'm going to show you what's going on. And 1 lilac. Let me show you what's going on with the lilac. Here, I've got a Canadian lilac. I wanted shade right here, but I've got this overhang where the master bath is. If I put an aspen in right here, it's in the middle of my gate. So I went with a lilac. They get about 8-10 feet. I can keep it trimmed so it kind of goes in here with the flow. We got 4 aspens. Softening this west wall should really reduce my heating bills, and they grow straight up right to the moon. So as this project progresses, we'll show you how it goes together and how to plant. Okay, Ken here, and we're back. We're finishing up this project. We've got our aspen planted. 3 of these things actually. We planted 4 altogether, but I left the last one to show you what we're doing. Here we planted our lilac. Isn't that pretty? You can already see it's got buds forming for next spring. My bedroom's up here, my office is over here. It's gonna smell so good. I've got another aspen right here, staked, ready to go. It's gonna provide shade for me this year. But let me show you one that we haven't quite finished yet so you can see what we've been doing. Now, this soil, this is a really heavy clay soil. This is classic mountain soil. Can you see that? This is heavy clay. Roots are not gonna wanna grow through this stuff. And so let me show you how we're compensating for that mountain soil. First of all, here's our planting hole. Now I've dug it down and I filled it up with about 6-8 inches of water. That way when I put a root ball down in it, the roots will instantly start absorbing some of that water. Sometimes it's hard to get water to penetrate. What is that, 2 feet down? And so this is our root ball. I pulled the container off already. You can see right here, can you see what we've done? We pulled the root ball off, it was a little bit matted. And so we took a pick, a light razor blade, and just kind of roughed it up, and we're pulling these roots so that they start to come outwards. So many times, a big mistake people make, these roots are starting to grow around and they don't loosen them up. Now I didn't beat it up too much, just these outer roots I'm softening so they're starting to grow out into the surrounding soil already. Let me tip this thing up. We'll show you what we're doing. Here we go. And let's see here. That looks pretty good. Plants are just like people. You want to make sure you put it the best side forward. So they've got an ugly side, they've got a pretty side, just like everything. So here you can see this soil is really, really hard. Let me show you. I'm leaving, here's ground level. I'm leaving about that much of the root ball out of the ground. And then I'm going to mound this dirt up to this root ball, the top of the root ball. That way, if it gets real wet, this clay soil, it just won't breathe. This will ensure that at least that much of the root ball can breathe even in the worst of monsoon rains or the heaviest of winter snows. Let me show you a finished product. Actually, anytime you plant, you're going to need 3 things. Let me show you what those are. Here's what we've been using. Now, here's what happened when your contractor built your house. He took every bit of topsoil that you had and scraped it off and threw it away. So you're left with literally dead soil. You're going to have to revitalize that. We always need 3 things to help us get plants to really take off. This is mulch. It's just compost, but it adds organics. Now we've been adding for these plantings about 1/3 mulch to our native earth. We've been throwing away the rocks, of course, but we're cutting this clay soil down with this mulch. That's going to help the roots spread out and be able to breathe. We've been adding my all-purpose plant food. It's a special food that we've mixed up just for the mountains. Now this is cottonseed meal and bird guano. It's great stuff. It's going to add some nutrients back into your soil. Your soil has no food in it whatsoever. There's no reason for those roots to go out. This really helps it. And then finally, I'm going to water it in with this Root and Grow. This is like liquid magic. Root and Grow is a root stimulator. So I'm going to water in each one of these when we're all done. And it'll encourage those roots to start spreading out and taking into that surrounding soil. It really helps the plants get rooted. It's all about roots here in the mountains. And then finally, for trees, stake them. Oh, I've seen so many mistakes. Make sure this is an 8-foot lodge pole. Now, so many folks use little tiny stakes. Well, they wiggle and they work their way right out. A lodge pole does not move. You stick it in the ground, it stays there. So you can put those in the ground. I've got a finished project I'll show you. So many times I see trees leaning to the northeast. Get that prevailing southwest wind. Plants start leaning, especially fruit trees. They'll load up with fruit and then fall over. Stakes prevent that from happening. Let me show you a finished project. It's right over here. This is what it should look like. This is one of my larger aspens. I love aspens. They're so good for the mountains. They grow naturally, but look, it's going to go straight up to the moon. It's going to give me lots of shade on this wall, but in the winter, it's going to lose its foliage, so I can get the solar gain during the winter, but during the summer, it gets the leaves on it, and so it's going to give me relief. So I'll reduce my cooling bills in the summer, and I'll reduce my heating bills in the winter. That's great. That's what plants are supposed to do. Here we dug our plants, left a good portion out of the ground, took some rocks to kind of hold that soil in. We've got our stakes here, 2 stakes, 1 on either side, and we've got a V-strap. I don't know if you can see that. It's probably hard to see on film, but basically the tree can move, but it cannot fall over. And then we tied it once on either side to these stakes. The plant can move. That's a good thing. It'll make it strong. We just don't want it to start leaning because of the wind. And then finally, I'm going to water it in with my root and grow. This is like liquid magic. Plants love this stuff. So it'll encourage it to start rooting out and take off. It's fall. It's a great time to plant trees. So if you just get them going, they'll start rooting out and give you tremendous growth next spring. And that's Ken over at Waters Garden Center, and that's the 1, 2, 3s of how to plant mountain trees.